nerds, my name is Leslie Smith and welcome to The Nerdy Narrative. This is a channel where I like to share with you about all of the different books that I read and the many different genres I like to read in, such as science fiction, fantasy, horror, manga, comics, nonfiction, classics, or literary fiction, a little dash of nonfiction here and there. I just really enjoy variety in my reading. It helps keep me out of slumps. It helps keep me interested in what I'm reading. I don't get tired out of one genre. And I just like to share that with you guys. One, so we can see what we like to read in common, so we can chat about it with each other, and maybe also share something that gets you interested in trying a new genre and maybe finding something new for you to read that you love. And today's episode of fun is my weekly reading wrap up. That's where I update you on things I have going on the channel, what I read, what I'm reading, what I plan to read next, and of course open up the conversation in the comments below, or you can look in the description box for a link to my Discord. Join me there for some chats. But let's get started. The first thing I want to share with you guys, if you haven't noticed already, I have a shirt. It's got my logo on it. When I went home to visit last week, I met with my friend Victoria. I totally forgot she makes t-shirts. I have t-shirts that she has made for me and I totally forgot, but she surprised me with this one. She knows purple is my favorite color, and Chris gave her my logo and she made it for me and I was so excited. She also made me this super cool bookmark. Hopefully the camera will focus on it. That is so neat. It's tricolored, it's got my logo on it, and she said even though it's a little on the thicker side, it's perfectly safe to use in paperbacks, which I have been using and it hasn't done anything to my spines. But if you guys are interested in a Nerdy Narrative logo t-shirt, let me know in the comments down below. We might be able to talk to Victoria about doing some shirts for anyone who may want one to rep the channel. If I remember correctly, I believe with cost of the shirt, materials, and all that fun stuff, it's gonna be, I think, $25 plus shipping, or it might be $20 plus shipping. At any rate, that's something we can figure out later. I'm just looking to see if anyone would be interested and I could get her to do a run. We might just do like navy or green, or just do a couple of colors and buy in bulk, and that will help with the expenses as well. But at any rate, put it down in the comments below if you're interested and we'll see what we can do. I do have 3 other designs that I sent off to an artist to draw up for me. So merch is coming. Stay tuned for that. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's been a couple of weeks since I did an update because I was on vacation visiting family. But the first one that I got that is so gorgeous is I've got a physical copy of Winds of Strife by U.G. Gutman. I read this one in the month of April. I really loved it. I focused more on the magic system than I did the characters. Not to say the characters weren't interesting, but you'll remember I said that I wanted to reread it and then I'm going to do a dedicated review on it. But another thing I mentioned is I wanted a physical copy because I read it on Kindle. I wanted a physical copy because the beginning of chapters have these charts that give you the emotion and the breakdown of how it works in regards, because the magic system is tied to emotions. And I really wanted to flip back and forth because it goes into detail. Like, this magic system is fully explained in detail. And I wanted to flip back and forth between that while I was reading the book. So this is going to be a reread soon. You're going to see a dedicated review soon, along with a twist in the review. So I'm very excited to share that with you guys in the future. But thank you so much to the author who sent me this. He saw what I was saying about it and he sent me a copy. I'm so proud to have it because this cover is gorgeous. When U.G. Gutman was designing it, he did allow those of us in shelf space to help vote on the one we like the most. So it's really kind of special to have it in my hands, knowing that I had a little small part in maybe helping choose one. Thank you so much, Yuri. I really appreciate it. My next piece of book mail is the gorgeous Paranisi by Susanna Clark. This book is beautiful. It's so beautiful. I mean, the cover is gorgeous, yes, but look at the naked hardback. Oh my gosh, I love it. And then the inside, we've got little shells and seahorses. What's not to love about that? And what's really been funny, in my Discord, there's been a discussion about the back of the dust jacket. And if you'll notice, if I can get the camera to focus on it, the ISBN is a little crooked. But I'm looking at it, and I think the reason why they're all crooked, because everybody started looking and posting pictures, I think the ISBN is supposed to look like it's floating in the water that's on the back there. So I think that crooked ISBN was by design, y'all. But this beautiful, gorgeous book was a gift to me by my friend Katrina, who is a fellow moderator in the Shelf Space Discord with me. We're actually in a bunch of different Discords, but she sent this to me as a little surprise, and I was so excited. I've heard so many good things about this book. I can't wait to read it for myself. So last September, when Chris and I went home to visit, we had lunch with some friends, and one of them brought me books 2 and 3 of a trilogy. He didn't realize it was 2 and 3. He thought it was 1 and 2. But anyway, he brought me books 2 and 3, and then of course, as soon as we went home, he found the first book, and he was going to send it to me, but I was like, no, just wait till we come back home. So now I have book 1 in the Gondolara cycle, which is by 2 authors, Randall Garrett and Vicki N. Hadrian. And I want to say, I don't know if they're the same 2 authors that wrote the other 2 books, but this is a really old fantasy series. I'm very excited to try it. So I am super stoked to have this. So my next piece of book mail, a little backstory on how I got it. I am a huge fan of the channel Dark Between Pages. Nikki has a series called Author Spotlight. She showcases so many different authors on this particular series. I love it because I get to get a feel for an author before I read their work. Now, some of them I have read, but there's a lot that I haven't. So I kind of feel like I know the author going in. Well, I saw one about this particular author, and I commented about it because not only did I see her on Nikki's channel, I saw her on Linda's channel as well. And just the way that both Nikki and Linda described this book, I really wanted to read it. Well, I commented on Nikki's Author Spotlight. The author saw it, messaged me, and she was like, I would love to send you this book. And I was like, yes, please. But it is called Wisp of Gold by Leah, and I may say her name wrong, Lindemann. I follow her on YouTube. She has a great channel where she vlogs about writing and things like that, which I'll have linked below, along with Nikki's Author Spotlight and Linda's vlog about reading this book. My friend Jay from J Maddox Entertainment is also currently reading this book. All of those are going to be linked below. From what I understand, this is a historical fiction, and I've just really enjoyed incorporating these types of stories in my mix of things I like to read each month. You know, they're just like a drink of water on a hot summer's day or a breath of fresh air. I've just really enjoyed it, but there was just something about this story that just reached out to me from all the videos that I've watched from my friends that I mentioned earlier. I had to get my hands on this book, so I'm very excited to get to this one. So my next piece is a book mail. Again, total surprise. I'm so stoked. But Steve from Steve Talks About Books and Stuff, Steve and his wife Brandy sent me Sharp Ends by Joe Abercrombie, which are, I believe, they are short stories from the First Law world, and Steve is 100% responsible for my obsession with Joe Abercrombie. I won the giveaway he did for the First Law trilogy, and then I ended up reading all the books with him and our little group. We did live streams. All of that will be linked below. But he sent me this one to feed further into my addiction, plus another book called Nocturne, which is a collection of short stories by H.B. Diaz. I saw him talk about this on his channel, and again, something in the way he described it just reached out and pulled me in. I remember commenting about it. Next thing I know, it shows up in the mail, so thank you so much, Steve. I am very excited to get to these. And then my final pieces of book mail came from Patrick. I am extremely excited because Patrick is from the South. He is from the state that is my home state's twin, Alabama, and he told me about this little southern book that I just needed to read called Crazy in Alabama. And he said, if you go put that on your wish list, I will send it to you. So he sent this one to me, which I think this one's just going to be an absolute delight to read. So I'm looking forward to it. Plus, he sent Kings of the Wild. I've been wanting to read this book for like 2 years. I've been wanting to read this book. And I just never got around to it. You guys know how it is. But I have a physical copy here. That means it is going to happen, because when a physical copy exists, that means it's going to be the first thing I look at when I'm selecting my next month TBR. So yes, thank you so much, Patrick. And since I brought up Patrick, we can segue right into, I got a whole pack of new patrons that joined my Patreon last week. Patrick is one of them. He joined the Nerds Radiant tier. In that same tier, I also had Brittany Athena join and Andrew from Andrew's Wizardly Reads. And then on the Bridge Crew tier, I had Katrina, who sent me Piranesi. So guys, thank you so much for joining my Patreon and kicking in towards all of the bells and whistles that go into running a channel, and all the fun stuff that entails, such as editing software, subscription, Discord stuff, Google storage, because now I'm recording in 4K and my husband's like, you are eating up all of our storage. Alright, so let's get into what I read since the last time I updated you guys. And I got a little confused because I didn't put one up last week. But the first book I completed since I last checked in with you guys is Wizard and Glass by Stephen King. This book was wonderful. And I think what I'm going to have to do once I finish The Dark Tower is try to rank these books, because every time I read a new one in the series, my rankings change. I think this may be my favorite of the series so far, but it's so hard to decide that because each book is so different. It's so unique. They are just absolutely wonderful that it's going to be hard to rank them. But this one, oh man, this one was great. It's answered a lot of questions that I've had about the series coming forward regarding some characters. We got a lot of backstory. So now I feel that I have a better understanding of some of the motivations that are driving a certain character, which I won't say in case you haven't read it and you want to read it, but I can't say it enough how much I'm enjoying reading the Dark Tower series. Right on the heels of finishing Wizard and Glass, I finished The Rave by J.R. Trask. This book is the first book in a trilogy called the Alfraver Trilogy, and this book was so good. It was way better than I thought it was going to be. It just kept shocking me. The story kept just getting better and changing and incorporating new fun little elements. What is not to love about this book? I love the characters, and we have a good, healthy set of characters, not too many, and they're developed so well without being overdeveloped. There's like the main mystery, and then there's other little mysteries about the different characters and their past and maybe their motivations for what is driving them. I loved it. It just gets to a point where you're suddenly binging the book and you don't realize it. This one is the first one I have read in a long time where it kept me up late into the night because I kept going, one more chapter, one more chapter. I had a great conversation with the author about it because I can't find anybody else who has read this book. I need you guys to read this book. I want to say it's on Kindle Unlimited. So if you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription, go download it, give it a try, come to my Discord, let's chat about this book. I really enjoyed it. I cannot wait for book 2, which just cannot get in my hands fast enough. Final book that I have completed since we last chatted is Mongrels by Stephen Graham Jones. In keeping with my history that I have with this author, completely different than the other 3 books I've read by him. This one features werewolves, and it's a completely different take on it, which is what makes it unique. Werewolves, you've all heard the stories about werewolves, the lore and the rumors. Yeah, we've heard that a million times, but Stephen Graham Jones just has this uncanny way of taking a trope or a subject matter that we've heard about all our lives and just making it his own. I loved it. Now, it's not my favorite of his. I may even say it's my least favorite of those I've read by him. All of his books to me so far that I've read have been 5-star reads. And The Only Good Indians is one of my favorite books of all time. So me saying this is a 4-star read and it's not my favorite of his, please don't think it's not a great book. It is a wonderful, wonderful story. Even though I said it's my least favorite of his, I couldn't put it down, if that gives you any indication. You guys know I like to read like 4 to 6 books at one time, and I just change them up so I don't get bored with one genre or the other or get in a slump. But this one, I actually did not read any other books until I completed it after I had started it, because I was so enraptured in this tale. So yeah, loved it. Stephen Graham Jones can do no wrong in my opinion. Moving into what I'm still reading, I'm still working on the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. This one is part of a read-along I joined. It's a slow-moving read-along, 100 pages per week. This is hosted by Thistle and Verse, which I will have her linked below. And because of the nature of the read-along being a slow read-through of the Broken Earth trilogy, you still have plenty of time to join. But this is the first N.K. Jemisin book I've ever read. I'm a huge fan. She does have a very different style of writing, but I like it. I like the change back and forth between how one chapter, it's like the author is narrating what you're doing, and then the next chapter jumps back into you standing on the outside while she's telling you what's happening in front of you. So I really dig that style. It's very interesting, and it keeps me from zoning out and getting bored. It also slows me down so that I'm more present in what I'm reading, if that makes any kind of sense. But this story is amazing. It's still very sad to me. I feel like I'm going to get a good payoff from my characters that I feel are just being stepped on. I do feel like I'm going to get a payoff. I don't know if I'm going to get it in this one, but I'm over halfway through it right now, and I'm really going to push hard to finish it before the end of the month. Last night, I actually started An Unkindness of Magicians by Kat Howard. My friend Kelly from Kelly Hooked on Books sent this to me. It's a YA urban fantasy that I am really loving. I sat down with it last night and quickly read 100 pages of this sucker. It's also the patron buddy read with Michael Nipp's channel for this month, so that worked out really well for me. I'm getting to read a book that I wanted to read that also happens to be a buddy read with my friends over on Michael's channel. It just really cements my discovery that I enjoy reading a couple of YAs a month here and there. I'm just absolutely loving it. It takes place in New York City, and it describes the surroundings really well, which I love New York. Absolutely love it. So I feel like I'm getting to tour a beloved travel spot for me. So that's fun. And it's also a very interesting story. It's like a competition between these noble houses of magicians. And there's some plotting going on, which I'm a huge fan of. And it was surprisingly a little bit dark in there too. So I'll keep you posted, but so far so good. 100 pages in. I do feel like I'm going to finish this one really quickly. It's very easy to read. It's very easy to just submerge into it and keep going. So it's just going to be a battle of which one I will finish first between this one and the 5th season, because they're both really good. But I do hope to finish both of those and then still have time to finish one last book before June 1st, which brings me right into what I plan to read next. And that's going to be Iron Gold by Pierce Brown. This is part of a Discord-wide buddy read over on the channel Library of Alexandria. I'll have that linked below, and I really hope I can sneak this one in before the end of the month so I can watch the live stream that Alan's going to have for it. But my vacation home kind of threw a monkey wrench in my TBR plans, because as I mentioned, we were going constantly. I didn't get to read a whole lot, so I might fall behind in the read along and have to push it into June, which will take the place of Dark Age for that prompt in the Olympic Readathon. So, we're gonna try and hope for the best. We'll see what happens. So that looks like everything. Bookmail, check. What I read, check. What I'm reading, check. And what I plan, hopefully, to read next, check. Yep, that is everything I have for you guys on this update. Thank you so much for watching today. Don't forget to let me know in the comments down below if you would be interested in a Nerdy Narrative logo t-shirt so I can gauge interest and get with Victoria and nail down some pricing for that. I did not ask her how much these cute little bookmarks are, but I will get the pricing of that too if you guys are interested, so let me know about that as well. While you're on your way down to the comments, don't forget to hit that little like button. Let me know you were here and you enjoyed what you saw today. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I am super appreciative for you spending a little bit of your busy day with me. I hope your morning started off well. I hope the rest of your day is absolutely fantastic, and I'll see you in the next one.